Hello again. As I am sure many viewers know, Tommy Robinson is due to appear at the High Court on Monday to answer an accusation that he is in contempt of court. If this is found to be the case, then he will most likely be sent to prison for 2 years. I'm interested in how this has come about, and in particular where the £1.5 million came from which made this outcome possible. Some years ago, Tommy Robinson made certain allegations regarding a teenage refugee living in the north of England. Then came the astonishing news that this boy, from an impoverished family, had instructed lawyers to pursue Tommy Robinson through the courts for libel. I might mention here that suing people in this way is enormously expensive and well beyond the reach of the ordinary person. When cases are brought, those behind them are usually either very rich or have the backing of some big organisation who will foot the bill. In this case, money was evidently no object because the schoolboy was represented in court by a QC. The final bill for these lawyers came to £1.5 million. Before going any further, there are one or two points to consider here. None of the newspapers reporting the case ever seemed the least bit curious about who was actually behind it. It was simply reported that the teenage refugee had instructed lawyers and begun the libel action. Did nobody think to ask who was footing the bill for this? Libel lawyers would not start work without a very large retainer up front. It wasn't the boy and his family providing it. Who was paying and engineering the case, with the evident intention of ruining Tommy Robinson? Nobody seemed to wish to know. The second obvious point follows on from the first. Whoever was behind the case didn't really care about this schoolboy being libelled. He was being used as a cat's paw to get at Tommy Robinson. If anybody had really had that boy's interests at heart, then instead of paying swanky lawyers over £1 million, they would have used that money instead to improve the boy's life, perhaps buying his family a home, financing his education, that sort of thing. The boy himself at the centre of all this has not received a penny from all the business, or so he's told the newspapers. Whatever is going on is not actually benefiting the boy himself. At some point after the court case, Hope Not Hate appeared openly on the scene and began trying to get Tommy Robinson committed to prison for what they claimed was breaching a ruling which prevented him from repeating publicly the allegations which had led to the libel case. On their website, Hope Not Hate say this: Hope Not Hate launched a campaign to get justice, and we submitted an extensive dossier to the Attorney General calling on them to bring contempt of court proceedings against Lennon for his blatant breach of the injunction. Following our submission in November, the Attorney General notified Lennon that he faces prosecution and could face up to 2 years in prison. Once again, this is guyed up as being in the interest of justice for the boy who was libelled. I wonder if anybody has actually given this young man a choice in the matter. What do you think would have happened if he himself had been given the choice between £1 million in cash and becoming the figurehead in a campaign against a man he might not even have heard of? Do you think he would have preferred the cash settlement? Would that have provided more justice, if justice was really the aim of this enterprise? In a documentary on Channel 4 the other night, Hope Not Hate was shown trying to get Tommy Robinson back into court for supposed contempt. Do you think this is actually more important to them than the interests of the refugee family at the centre of the business? Is justice really what Hope Not Hate are fighting for here? Or is this part of a vendetta against somebody whom they evidently dislike? How has the teenager whom this is about actually benefited from all this, if at all?